Good morning from New York City. We're Madison and Ivan.
And for today's Mad Venture, while we are standing outside of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, aka the Met, the piece of art that we are focusing on today, we actually found just outside of the Met at a vendor, this guy. So we bought this for just a couple bucks from a vendor right here out front.
And if you've been with us before, you know the way we like to experience the culture, the people of a new place is through its food. And using this piece of art as a guide, we're going to be working our way through New York City's most iconic eats.
So we're going to go ahead and start with the hot dog and the pretzel, Philly's hot dog cart that we are walking to. We're going to walk through Central Park to the hot dog cart. It is rated the top hot dog cart in the entire country by Google. So that's pretty insane. Like, it has a 5-star rating.
5 stars? Like 5
5
out of 5 stars.
5 out of 5 stars for
I don't know if
I've
I've seen that before.
And especially not for like a street vendor like this. Like, this has got to be absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to be learning a little bit about the New York hot dog culture here and pretzel culture here at this New York institution.
And I think we're about to complete our trifecta too. We have the Dodger Dog in LA. We have the Fenway Frank at Fenway Park in Boston. Now finally, we're hitting the New York City classic hot dog cart hot dog.
Man, you're gonna piss a lot of Chicagoans off.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
that's true. Hot take. I'm gonna get canceled.
I'm gonna cancel you. I know the Chicago dog is important and we will get that at some point.
Okay, 3 of the most. Let's reword it. All right.
Look how red those leaves are.
I see it. I see the umbrella. We're finally doing it. I am hungry, hungry, hungry. Let's go. Get a hot dog. First New York hot dog. Ooh, it's cold. Oh, that smells good. So interesting. I don't think I've ever had a hot dog that smelled like that. It's like a sweet glaze, almost like a really nice tomato barbecue sort of deal. But before we even get to eating it, $2. This is $2. That is insane. This pretzel, looking good, also $2. A drink, not just any drink, a Snapple too, $1, $5. I could this could be my entire lunch right here for $5. Unheard of. In New York City, man, looks like a nice Dijon mustard there. We have the sauerkraut. I licked my finger. It is mild. If you don't like sauerkraut, I am thinking we might like this one. The thing that's giving it that like red, like kind of terracotta color there, that is an onion sauce. So I'm guessing the caramelization of the onion. And we heard tomato paste as well, and I can smell that. All right, let's try it out. Enough talking. That is so different. I really like that. The stand, they'll make it however you want. We got this one with the sauerkraut and the onion tomato paste because we know it's kind of a unique thing to New York hot dogs. I wanted to try it out, and I can definitely tell you, very, very unique. Haven't had anything like that. I really like that onion tomato paste. So it's like it doesn't have the sweetness of ketchup, but it has kind of the tart and the like acidity that you would find in a ketchup. Has a great bite, burst of juice that comes out of it. Got a lot of flavor actually, which, you know, hot dogs, you don't get as much of necessarily the flavor, especially if you boil it. Sometimes you might lose a lot of that flavor to the water, but that is not the case here. It's like a water balloon of flavor. So good. Very, very unique. I'm glad we tried this.
Hot dogs are obviously an American classic, but they started in New York City. In 1871, in Coney Island, Charles Feltman opened up a hot dog stand. And Coney Island at the time was kind of like affluent, you know, it was like kind of for the rich and famous, which is sort of how people do a lot of marketing today. Like, the rich and famous get into something, all of a sudden the rest of America is like, I'm interested in that. And so that's exactly what happened here. And actually working for Charles Feltman was Nathan of Nathan's famous hot dogs that we still know today. So he went and started up a competing stand next door that was a lot more approachable for the everyday American. It was half the price of the original hot dog stand. But it's just super crazy, like cool part of New York City history. You know, so many foods, so many things started here or were perfected here. So it's really fun to be taking a bite of that. And it's so nice being able to grab a hot dog, eat it right here in Central Park. I feel like a true New Yorker. Like I feel like I'm having a Liz Lemon moment. Like, I'll take them all.
You finished it?
So we had our New York City hot dog, and now we're getting our New York City pretzel, which is also from Billy's Hot Dog Cart. It's awesome. Get a twofer. New York is not where pretzels got their start here in America. They got their start in Pennsylvania, but New Yorkers took it and perfected it with the big, chunky flakes of salt here on top. A warm pretzel is perfect on a nice cool day like today. It's perfect. It's doughy, it's salty, it's warm, it's filling. It's the New York City pretzel was like a very important food for the working class. There were little carts that would come through the city, buy a pretzel midday to get their snack time. They're fueling up for the rest of the day because they were doing a lot of hard labor. So yeah, that's how this got to start in New York City and really took off. I see why. It's delicious and it is very fueling. Like, I'm ready to go on a run through Central Park now. So pretzels originally got their start in Italy with monks. And then worked their way to Germany. German immigrants brought it here. Something interesting I learned is that it was created to look like this because people would pray like this. You see the pretzel? And I'm very much reminded of the Seinfeld episode because these pretzels are making me thirsty.
These pretzels are making me thirsty. No, see, that's no good. See, you don't know how to act.
So now I have these stickers. Thought they were perfect for marking things off as we go. So now we've done the hot dog. And we got our pretzel. 2 down, 5 to go.
What's next?
We're going here. And also here. Another twofer. Snapple fact. The only bird who can see the color blue is the owl. On our sample from Billy's Hot Dog Cart. We get 2 everything, 2 egg.
Oh, thank you, boss. I'm good.
Thank you, too.
Got the whole. Look at that. It's got heft. It's our 3rd bagel store, but this one might be the most famous of them yet. Russ and Daughters, established in 1914, over 100 years ago. Boy, do they have good stuff in there.
Well, it looks good. Let's see how it tastes. So we just went to the iconic Russ and Daughters for our bagel and our black and white cookie. These are both New York City icons. I always thought that they both came over Jewish immigrants, but the black and white cookie, I found out, was actually created here in New York City, which is pretty freaking cool. Joel Russ started his herring cart back in 1904. In 1914, he opened up his bagel shop, which was called J.R. Russ Cut Rate Appetizers, which is very, very wordy. But in 1933, when he added his daughters as partners to the business, they changed it to Russ and Daughters, which is a lot more iconic, in my opinion. So, whoop, drop the black and white cookie on the ground. So we got an everything bagel with Nova cream cheese, which Nova is a type of salmon. And it looks like they even put like herbs and stuff in it as well, which we haven't seen before. So this is our 3rd bagel shop here in New York City. I'm excited to give it a bite. That's a good bagel. It's like so crisp and chewy and delicious. It's good stuff. So the history of bagels in New York City, in the late 1800s, a bunch of Jewish immigrants came here to New York City, and then slowly these bakeries started opening up to give them a taste of home. By 1900, there were over 70 bagel shops in New York City, and they just took off. Just such an easy, perfect, good breakfast to pick up on the go. And I agree, like we have really fully embraced bagel culture here as New Yorkers. And a big part of what they say makes the bagels and the pizza in New York City so iconic is actually the New York City water. And the Smithsonian has actually verified this, saying that there is the perfect percentage of calcium and magnesium in the water here. This composition of the water blends perfectly with the gluten and allows the bagels to be that perfect chewy texture, unlike any other in the world. Now we have our black and white cookie, created in New York City in the early 1900s. So it's actually more of a cakey texture, just a little extra flour to make it denser. Hashtag slay. Yeah, you know, the perfect chocolate vanilla combination on top. This is super good. It's just this delicious cake, a little bit of white chocolate, a little bit of milk chocolate, but kind of very bitter milk chocolate. I think they add this little bit of lemon that gives it this delicious, delicious freshness to bring up the sweetness. It's just, this is very tasty. I'm so glad that we finally made it and waited in line for this iconic bagel shop. So we've done our bagel, done our black and white, bagel check. Okay. We're over halfway there, but you know what pairs absolutely perfectly with a bagel and a black and white? Coffee. Let's go. Now this one says, it's our pleasure to serve you, and this one says, we are happy to serve you. This Anthora coffee cup, the name of the design, is so iconic in New York City that there are actually people who collect like every variation of this that they can find. It's just such a symbol of New York City. And this place, Abraço, has the best espresso in New York City, according to Bon Appetit magazine, according to Time Out New York. This place is legendary. And a lot of places that you go to these days for coffee, they offer so many different variations, but this place, like, this is the latte. Like, it's not, you know, there's not a million different milk alternatives. Like, they do what they think is best, and I mean, from the credibility I've seen, it must be the best. And I mean, this is the city that never sleeps, so they gotta have good coffee. And that's really good. It's a little cool today, and this is just absolutely perfect, hitting the spot. The coffee is so rich but smooth. The creamy, just deliciousness. Like, I mean, there's so many bubbles. Like, it's perfection. Coffee in the United States really got... got to start here in New York City. The first espresso machine ever in the US was delivered here. This is the port where all the coffee was received. That was distributed throughout the country. Even Howard Schultz, the creator of Starbucks, is actually from Brooklyn. He grew up here in New York City, even though, you know, he started it in Seattle. He's a New Yorker. That's why he loves and knows so much about coffee. So this cup was designed in 1963, and it was designed to appeal to Greek coffee shops, because the Greeks are who really brought coffee culture with them and spread it throughout New York City. And so obviously, I mean, you can tell that it is very much targeted towards Greeks. But New York City just as a whole ended up falling in love with it. There were over 600 Greek-owned coffee shops, but now, I mean, a lot of these are not Greek-owned, and they still just serve this. It's iconic. And you know that coffee is such an iconic part of life in New York City. I mean, Friends takes place at a coffee shop. Seinfeld takes place at a diner where they're always drinking coffee. Like, it's a very big part of the culture here, and I'm ready to embrace it. But first, we gotta do our sticker. Perfect. Delicious New York City icon of the day. Pizza history. In 1905, Lombardi's opened up in New York City, and it was the first pizzeria in the entire United States. But it was a coal-fired pizza, so they were only selling it as a whole because coal-fired pizza doesn't really reheat that well. So in 1934, an Italian immigrant here in the United States invented the gas-fire pizza oven, which meant that the pizza was able to be cooked at a lower temperature and the slices were a lot more reheatable. And from there, slice culture took off, and here we are today about to go enjoy a couple New York slices.
Long lines are a good sign. So we are at Scar's Pizza. We waited here for over an hour to get these two beautiful slices of pizza. What we have here is the Hot Boy. That's the classic, you know, New York style pizza. bigger than the plate, bigger than life itself. Doing our homework, we learned that the owner of this pizzeria like studied with the best of them, Lombardi's, Joe's, like the classic New York style pizzas. So yeah, he brought all that knowledge to perfect his pizza here. And he like mills his own flour. So he is a hardcore dude. But what we have here is the Hot Boy. So it's a classic New York style slice, huge. It's got pepperoni on it, it's got jalapenos on it, and a hot honey. The characteristic here that you're looking for is that it folds, like I'm doing like this, but it's not cracking. But it's still crispy, still like, you can hold its own shape. Like I could hold this with one hand if I wanted to. Oh, it's so good. New York style pizza, the ratios are totally different. The crisp is very thin on the outside, and then immediately you get to the gooier, chewier inside. And the toppings right away. Somehow, they've managed to fuse both like a premium flavor and like a guilty pleasure. Kind of chewy, nutty texture on and flavor on the bread, coming I think from the fact that they have milled their own flour. The jalapenos, not necessarily a classic ingredient, but a really good addition here. The heat, like usually I like to add some pepper flakes. This does not need it. Very, very well balanced. Hot honey, playing with that spicy, savory, sweet. I want to taste the crust. The inside is so soft, so soft, but the outside, you get that nice crunch on it. That's good. That was delicious. I wish we'd ordered more. Getting close. Just one more to go. Chinese takeout. And then nap time. We went to Suzhou for some Fuzhou cuisine. Now that is a tongue twister. Don't try saying that 5 times fast. But even though their name is hard to pronounce, their food smells absolutely delicious.
And it's actually pretty easy to pronounce the food.
Yeah, the food is very easy to pronounce. Wheat peanut noodle. Very interesting. That peanut smell is strong. This is a very, very simple dish. There's noodles. There's that peanut sauce that they have in there. Got some scallions in there, but that's about it. But it is one of those meals that like you do not want to stop eating. Like you don't want that flavor to start to fade. And the good thing is $3, yeah, this much. So you actually can just keep eating it. It is very good. It is like a peanut butter, but think of like the savory version of a peanut butter. So it's got like a good amount of salt, a good amount of oil in there. And it just coats these al dente style noodles. It's a very simple noodle too, but all about the texture on the noodle. And the peanut really bringing that flavor. But $3? $3 for this much food? People always say New York City is so expensive. But I think you just have to put in a little more work to find like the amazing value, amazing flavor. I mean, and like value is one thing, but you still want to have the flavor. And this is proof that you can have it all.
All of these dumplings for $4.50. This place is just incredible. It's amazing to be able to be somewhere where you can actually like try, not just like this is from this country, but like get specific with it, like this province. Actually get all of the regional differences. That's really good. And thank goodness it's really good. Because we bought a bag of 50 of them frozen to cook at our apartment. These are pork and chives, so it's like the pork is being salty and savory and fatty and perfect, and then the chives just like gives it that little bonus freshness. And there's a healthy amount of chives in there. This is so good. Chinese food is so iconic here in New York City. I definitely understand why they put it on our New Yorker piece of artwork, because it is just absolutely incredible. There are 3 Chinatowns in New York City. In the 1840s, that's where a lot of Chinese immigration happened here to the United States, and Chinese restaurants opened up to cater to the Chinese population that was moving in. And that was kind of where it was at first, you know, mostly Chinese food being made for other Chinese people. But then slowly they started to cater like kind of completely to Americans. Like literally the fortune cookie was invented in San Francisco. Egg rolls, like, which I feel like we as Americans are like, oh, an egg roll, like Chinese food. Like that was apparently invented in New York City. But then President Nixon, during his presidency, went to China and was shown on the news, on TV, eating authentic Chinese food there. And people all of a sudden were showing up at Chinatown here in New York, and they were like, I would like to try that. And the restaurants were like, oh, you would. We can make that happen. So now, I mean, it's just incredible having every single province in China represented in the food here. I mean, there's so much to choose from. Like, honestly, we could spend, I think, weeks, maybe months eating like every day at the different restaurants that we want to try here. Like, it's absolutely incredible. We got takeout because we wanted to take it home, but I even can't stop eating it. It's that good.
It's so good. It's like the moment the flavor fades in your mouth, you're like, okay, next one.
What a delicious day. Did you have a favorite of the things we ate today?
Maybe partially because of how fresh it is in my mind. I have to give it to the dumplings that we had at this Chinese restaurant. So
They're
good.
really good.
But if I had to give you a second option, it would definitely be the hot dog.
What?
Yeah, because it's like a hot dog. What are you gonna do with that? Like, it's a hot dog. You know what a hot dog tastes like. But they definitely did something to that hot dog that made it different. That tomato onion paste sauce thing they had going on, delicious, so good.
Yeah, that was really good. And Billy himself in the cart and like being able to eat in Central Park, like he was made for such an iconic New York City experience. And I loved the pizza, like, and it was just so fresh and delicious and perfect. But yeah, it's very crowded. I guess this is Saturday. Dang. You got people all around us. New York City, baby. Now we are home enjoying our Chinese takeout the proper way in our pajamas.
Front of the TV.
Front of the TV. Like this is what Chinese takeout is all about. And we realized we still have to do our sticker, finish it off.
That is Chinese takeout. We did it.
We did it. Thanks for joining us. Please subscribe, like. We'll see you on the next one. And until then, live your own mad adventure.
Bye.